year is 1834. French novelist Honoré de Balzac has the bright idea to compile over 90 novels and novellas into a series called La Comédie Humaine. Over the course of 3 years, these entries would be released slowly until the compilation was complete, thus, the publication of serials. In the early 1900s, many serialized published works were adapted into films, mostly silent, until the 20s. Nick Carter was among the first, released in 1908 in this episodic format. 6 short films were released, and thus, the visualization of serials. Cut to 1930. Clara, Lou, and M debuted on WGN AM in Chicago. It was coined the first soap opera, and by 1932 it was a bona fide hit, and thus the strictly audio serials. Television followed the trend in 1952 when The Guiding Light first aired. The first serial soap opera debuted with a religious undercurrent, pleasing the CBS audience for over 50 years. Thus, the popularity of serials. And today, we are surrounded by serialized art, from a film series with 7 sequels to a book series with 20 entries, from a television show where zombies tear people limb from limb to a band or musical artist, 3 concept album arc. The possibilities are endless. Thus, this is something serial.
Hi, everybody.
Oh, hello, Kevin. It looks like we're starting a new season, and Kevin is going to play video games.
No. You see, in life, there's nothing to do when you can't go outside.
Very true. Except come.
Hi. Hi, everyone.
Hi.
How are you feeling?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm okay. I'm living life.
In the fast lane.
Yeah. So what we're going to talk about today on Something Serial is
I'm really excited to talk about this.
Me too. And I'm gonna shut this off. I'm going to bomb a Hail Mary. Let's see what we got. Oh my god. I got 40 yards and that's enough.
Well,
turning off. Okay.
For the people that don't know, Something Serial is, if you scroll down the Kerrit podcast feed that you're listening on, or if you're on YouTube, you can go to the audio somewhere. But Kevin and I did 2 episodes of Something Serial, and we did Mission Impossible and Mission Impossible 2, and then we didn't do the rest. And
we got into 3 a little bit though, didn't we?
No, we watched it, and then I watched Ghost Protocol on my own, and I took notes. Gotcha. But we never ended up recording them.
I see. Well, certainly we'll have to jump back into that. I think
this will be just straight. I think we can put it on the Something Serial page as Batman. That's what we're talking about, everybody. We're talking about Batman. I'm really excited.
How anticlimactic was that?
Let's try it again. Let's try it again. Let's do it again.
Okay,
you do it.
Do I just present it, or do I throw it to you like, hey, like, what are we doing?
What are we doing, Kevin?
Okay. Wait, was that you starting?
Yeah.
Can you start again?
Sure.
And action.
What are we doing, Kevin?
Well, I am so glad that you asked me, my co-host.
Is it Batman?
Yes. No. Yes, that's what we're talking about. We will be you fucked it up. Oh God, again. Well, anyways, we're talking about Batman.
I think you've been talking about the Batman movies a lot, and I think that you should really start this off.
I'll try. For clarification, I think the basic thing that I want to talk about here's a couple things. First of all, so many people talk about Batman. Mm-hmm. The only reason we're talking about Batman is because you're listening to us, and I'm assuming that makes you kind of curious what our perspective is. So obviously we're not covering any new ground. This is a terrible pitch, so I'm going to stop. And then the other thing I wanted to say was the basic premise that I wanted to talk about was like the original 4.
I'm fine with that.
And how crazy it is that there's 2 directed by Tim Burton and 2 directed by Joel Schumacher, and they comprise a quadrilogy. Mm-hmm. I mean, they are related. It's crazy to say it.
Yeah, they're all technically supposed to be canon.
Yeah, I believe so. it's almost like a James Bond effect where even though George Lazenby was married to Diana Rigg, rest
Sean
in peace.
Connery, yeah, rest in peace.
Yeah, but like Timothy Dalton was technically married as well, based on License to Kill. They mentioned he was married. So in Batman, it's almost like they didn't understand what a reboot meant, because reboot wasn't really popular until, coincidentally, Batman Begins in Casino Royale, and then like every other movie that came out since then, pretty much.
It's funny because a reboot just means that they've driven the film so far into the goddamn ground that there's no resuscitation other than a try again.
Yep. It's weird. I feel like probably Sherlock Holmes is the original reboot when they were making like silent movies and just popping out like 10-minute shorts or whatever they did, where they just kept recasting the character. But I think the most popular example would be James Bond. Honestly, not to talk about everything we always talk about, but like I can't really think of a better example where like it was a non-traditional way of continuing a story.
Well, Batman Begins came out before Casino Royale, right?
It did. It came out a year before. But Casino Royale has a lot in common in regards to how they treat the characters, the main characters.
Yes, I
They're
agree
both
with
starting
that.
out. They're both getting the cut of their jib together, which is not a phrase.
Cut of their jib.
They're finding the different pieces and cutting little jibs out to find their perfect cut of jib. And
cut a jib jab.
I have to say, I can't wait to talk about. So here's the other thing I want to say. That's the basic premise of all of this, and I don't know how many episodes it's going to cover. We'll definitely start with the first movie, 1989's Batman. It's just Batman.
It is.
I miss simple titles. They've come back around, and now the new one's going to be The Batman, and it's like the Final Destination, where it's like I get what you're doing, and I'm not mad because there's only so many colons you can use in a film. But
well, they also did with Spider-Man, because it was like, Spider-Man! That's my favorite cameo, or not cameo, sorry, extra of all time in the first one. You know what I'm talking about? It's that girl that just like...
It's Spider-Man!
She's like, it's Spider-Man!
Yeah.
Yeah. The way...
Very Sam Raimian.
We'll put her in right now.
It's Spider-Man!
Oh, that was funny! I heard it. It was great.
The way she said it. Anyway, but... So that movie, like, those were called Spider-Man, and then Spider-Man 2, Spider-Man 3. And then they rebooted it with The Amazing Spider-Man.
Yep.
And
Sorry, go ahead.
I was just going to say, it's... That franchise was so terrible, they only did 2.
Yeah. It was awful. It was awful.
Yeah.
And I think it's an interesting note to say that Spider-Man 2, the Tobey Maguire Spider-Man 2,
is one of the best superhero movies of all time.
It is, but its working title was The Amazing Spider-Man.
Ooh, did not know that.
I always thought that was a great title because, like, why not use a classic comic book title to continue the series? And then the third one could be like Spider-Man's Tangled Web.
Ooh,
or something like that, because those are the comic books. Like, they would call them this.
Oh,
like,
okay.
Spider-Man's Tangled Web was a version of the comics that came out.
Well, I just want to see that extra just jump in and go, "It's the Amazing Spider-Man!"
Exactly. Everyone's like, why is she coining a term? Is that what she's doing? She's like on like Facebook Live, and she's like, I'm coined this term, the Amazing Spider-Man.
Yeah.
Hashtag copyright.
I wish we could find her and have her hop in like even the new Robert Pattinson movie.
It's the Batman.
It's the Batman.
That is not going to happen based on this trailer. There is going to be no tomfoolery. They look mad. We should do. This is just a great topic, but
I am excited to talk about the Batman.
Just in the trailer, before we get into 1989 Batman, because we might as well talk about it real quick.
I will say I never watched trailers, and I watched the Batman trailer, and I am glad that I did. I think that is a wonderful example of a trailer, because it's a property that, there's not going to be a lot of spoilers. We know the whole Batman story, but it looks like an enthralling, entertaining film.
Yeah, it looks like Seven.
Yeah, it really does.
But I thought the one shot that has stuck with me, I think, is the shot of Battinson's, and yes, that is how he will be referred to. Just like Ben Affleck is Batfleck. Just like George Clooney is somehow still only George Clooney.
Yep.
Just like Val Kilmer is still only Val Kilmer. Just like Michael Keaton is only Michael Keaton.
Yeah.
Just like Christian Bale is only Christian Bale.
No, people call Christian Bale Bruce Wayne. I think people like his Bruce Wayne more than they like his Batman.
Interesting.
His Batman voice is... I still hate that about The Dark Knight.
Oh, don't worry. It actually turns out the only really bad thing about Christian Bale as Batman... Can you hear that, by the way?
Yes, I can.
Okay, let me turn that off. It's an alarm. There we go. The only bad thing about Christian Bale, and it's not his voice. I know you think it's his voice, and you want it to be his voice because it is bad. It's The Dark Knight Rises. We just pin all the badness on The Dark Knight Rises.
Well, I'm still going to say his voice in The Dark Knight, and I get the whole thing of like he's trying to transform his voice or whatever, but this is how he sounds. This city just shows you not a good.
But believe in good.
This city just showed you that it's full of people ready to believe in good.
Well,
Wow,
Michael
yeah.
Keaton did the same thing, interestingly enough.
But he did it like,
Much better.
I'm Batman. And it was like, it sounded like a person.
It did.
And he changed his voice so much that it sounds not like Bruce Wayne. That's the whole idea. Like when Christian Bale's doing it, it just sounds like Bruce Wayne trying to hide his voice. And and I would be able to accept it if in The Dark Knight Rises it was like I now have a voice modulator that changes it for me, so I don't have to sound like a fucking idiot like I did before.
Right.
But they gave that to Bane, and that even sounds a little weird.
I mean, Christopher Nolan's a fascinating filmmaker, man. I mean, he's so good most of the time, but he has a trend of having terrible sound mixing for one thing. And I haven't seen Tenet, but I've heard that it's not well mixed. Like the audio there's an imbalance there between dialogue and special effects.
Really?
So, and he's done that his whole career. Like Dark Knight Rises, I remember I didn't really get what Bane was saying. I know it's kind of like a stereotype to criticize, but I remember watching it and being like, that's what you came up with? Like this I don't know. And then, his lower register as Batman is like computer manipulated. Like that's not physically his vocal cords shoveling coal. Like it's
I don't know, Kevin. I think it is.
Wow, you nailed it. That was amazing.
Well, it's weird because in Batman Begins he does that exact same thing.
But it's better because it's
pray to me. Like that line. I remember that.
Yeah, he says, swear to me.
Yeah, swear to me. That's good. That was good.
Swear to me.
But then in The Dark Knight, it sounds like he's tired the whole time.
It's because they literally manipulated the audio. I think it sounds to me in Batman Begins, he talked with his actual voice but made it lower. And then in Dark Knight, he talked with his actual voice, made it lower, and then in the remixing, they're like, let's lower that bitch.
It's so dumb. It makes no sense whatsoever.
Yeah.
And it's like, I mean, I just think, I'm not wearing hockey pants.
I'm not wearing hockey pads.
And no one could figure out if he said pads or pants. And
pads.
It's pads, obviously. But I remember a lot of people saying, what are hockey pants? Because they just couldn't fathom.
Are they Trump supporters?
Pants.
Sorry, no politics. Just don't know how you can make that mistake. Even if it sounds like he says pants, which I grant you, it kind of sounds like it.
Yeah.
100. Who the fuck would say hockey pants? There's no such thing as anyone referring to hockey pants.
Because of the sound mixing, that was the first like gold dress or blue dress. Do you remember that?
Yeah, dude.
Or
show.
Yanni or whatever the fuck the thing was. It was just like it's like a slight thing where one person or not one person, but one group of people hear one thing and then another group of people hear another thing, even though the dress picture, it's like your rods and cones, and you can also manipulate the picture to make it look different. So that's basically what it is. It's the way that your eye sees things. So the way that your ears hear things, because of the modulation that they put on it, people heard pads or pants. And the whole idea is just let Christian Bale say it. I don't know why you had to affect it.
It's kind of interesting, too, that they saved the voice modulator for Ben Affleck in Batman vs. Superman, because it sounds amazing. It's
really
like
good.
Perfect. It's pretty much the best incarnation of the Batman voice, except for maybe Michael Keaton, who did a great job.
Yeah, he did really well.
I'm Batman.
Actually, everyone... It's Michael Keaton and Val Kilmer did a good job, too.
Yes, Val Kilmer changed his voice enough, but it wasn't like really gravelly.
You see, I'm both Bruce Wayne and Batman. Not because I have to be. No. Because I choose to be.
But, I mean, George Clooney didn't change his voice at all.
He didn't do a fucking thing.
He
changed it so little, I wasn't sure if he was being sarcastic when he was Batman.
Yeah, I think he wanted people to not... I think it's almost like his character wanted people to know that he was Bruce Wayne.
Well, I can't wait to talk about that one. Because obviously we talked about it a little bit last episode at the end of the last season, I think. But...
I think so, yeah, a little bit. A lot, actually, on the last episode.
One quick thing. I got to. I think this is stuff, like, you can listen, you can figure this out anywhere, but, like, he's talking to Batgirl. Batgirl finally appears, saves everyone from Poison Ivy. And he goes, like, he says something so dumb. Like, he says, like, and you are? Like, he makes reference to not knowing who she is. And she goes, Bruce, it's me, Barbara. It's like...
It's quite obvious.
Yeah, like, are you assuming he doesn't know who you are? Because... Now that we're talking about voices, because it is just George Clooney talking, I can't tell if he's trying to make a joke or if he's, like, literally can't tell, because in that universe, they're so stupid.
Yeah, and then she goes, I found the Batcave.
Yeah, and it's like, what? Why are you thinking he doesn't know who you are? Did I misinterpret that, or what's going on here?
And you are?
Batgirl.
That's not awfully PC. What about bad person or bad woman?
Bruce, it's me, Barbara. I found the Batcave.
We gotta get those locks changed.
She knows who we are.
Guess we'll just have to kill her.
Yep, we'll kill her later. We have work to do.
Okay. So, but the one thing I want to talk about real quick was the shot in the Batman trailer, the new one, where you see Battinson's boots. It's just his boots. It's an up-close shot of his boots walking into frame. And for some reason, that stuck out to me because they look like normal boots.
Yeah.
If that makes sense. Like, I feel like you're accustomed to either A, not seeing his boots at all, or B, seeing like the I don't know what it's called, like the portion of the boot that goes from like the ankle to mid shin.
Yeah, you're never seeing the butt, like what
the soles,
the floor.
Yeah, and it's weird. It's like I never realized that about like many superhero outfits. They never show like an up close shot of the boot because it almost takes away the fantasy.
Yeah, Superman I think is a good example of like showing it because I can pick out his boot in a lineup because it's always like the red, you know,
right?
And it's always the same. It's such a consistent, you know, suit.
It's sort of cowboy-y. Almost.
Yeah, and Superman always has like a specific, you know, raised on a farm, country boy, and his suit is an element of, you know, Kryptonian whatever. And I'm probably wrong, but like
that's true.
Yeah.
His suit is made from the blankets that came with him. I'm assuming the boots are too somehow.
Yeah, right? No, he bought those at fucking JCPenney.
They get destroyed every time he goes and fights somebody.
He just sets them on the counter.
He's like, my feet are actually fine. They don't really need to be protected on this planet.
A barefoot Superman? That'd be fun.
Why not? He might as well be naked, honestly.
Yeah, I was just gonna say.
It doesn't matter.
Tarzan Superman, Super Zan.
So that's not bad.
What was I gonna say? Yeah, it's the creation of the uniform which is always interesting to me because you know the Tim Burton and Joel Schumacher ones. It's notoriously like this weird leathery
latex.
Garbage. Yeah, it's so strange, and it's like I'm supposed to believe this is bulletproof.
Dude,
Yeah.
I have never noticed. I mean, maybe I noticed it like the last time I watched it, like a couple of years ago. It's been a while, but like especially on my rewatches this time, the suit looks ridiculous. It looks so fake. It looks like styrofoam. I mean, it looks like it's impossible to move in. You can tell that they shot around the fact that it's impossible to move in. And every time he moves, you can just see like the flexes in the suit. Yeah. And you just know that that is 100% like latex and it's not anything else. And it looks like shit.
But with the new one, I wanted to say this, I think the whole idea is that it's supposed to be this like self-made production of a suit kind of thing. Yeah. And it's like, you know, you could get this anywhere. And one of the things that I really think is cool is the Batman logo that's on his chest is the gun that killed his parents.
That's only a rumor, I have to say.
If it's a rumor, it would be dumb for them to not be like, oh, that's totally true. That's such a good idea.
I mean, they should, I feel like, because they haven't actually acknowledged that.
Yeah.
And when I look at it, I don't see any gun pieces that make it, like, identifiably gun. It just looks like weird pieces of metal to me.
I mean, yeah, you could also do that with a gun.
What do you mean? Depending
on what kind of gun it is, you could, you know, cut it into different shapes and shit.
Yeah, you could. It's kind of funny to me that, like, they obviously put out, I remember when people started positing theories on that. It was when they released like a short 1.5-minute long video of like Battinson just straight up walking around with like some jazzy music in the background. And it was prior to the trailer. And everyone was like, oh, that's the gun. And it's like, if you're a filmmaker, why don't you just confirm or deny it?
Yeah.
It's like when they cast, who was it? Benedict Cumberbatch to play Khan in Star Trek Into Darkness. And everyone's like, oh, he's Khan. And they're like, no, it's John Harrison. You stupid bastards. And it was not. It was fucking Khan.
Yeah, that was the dumbest reveal in the world in that movie. And they did the same thing in Spectre to bring it back to James Bond.
Exactly, yeah. All these things are so interrelated, dude. Studios just feed off of each other, feed creative energy off each other. And it's like, if it's successful, bro, let's try it out. Hashtag DC Universe that fucking failed. And it's actually doing better now, so.
I just looked at the Batman, the gun logo thing, and you're right. I mean, it doesn't really look like a gun. It could be, but it looks more like knife handles to me.
Yeah, and I'm not sure what they're going to go for. I'm sure it's going to be some kind of surprise if they haven't commented on it.
But that's a better reveal than, like, if that's something that people guessed and it's revealed in the movie, it's less of a, it's not like a deflating moment like Khan was.
Yeah.
In Star Trek.
That was dumb. That was so dumb. That's a whole other thing. But
that was another reboot that went to shit.
Yeah, it did. Isn't that I know, right? It's so funny. Like
Star Wars as well.
Dude, not to mention Star Trek had all those Star Trek TV show spinoffs on CBS All Access, and they're like very poorly reviewed. I've only seen the first season of Discovery, and I actually kind of liked it, but I kind of get why people hated it, and Picard looked really bad from what I saw.
Yeah, I haven't seen any of it. And they try to reignite the Twilight Zone all the time, and every time they do, it's just never received well.
I know, it's great.
It can't be that hard to fuck up that show. I don't know what people are expecting when they watch it, and I don't know how the creators could fuck it up that badly.
Do you know what the format is of the new one with Jordan Peele?
No, haven't watched it.
My understanding is just remakes of old episodes.
Well, that's fucking stupid. Why would they do that?
That's stupid.
Yeah. God damn it.
The thing is, too, I hate to say it, but Twilight Zone worked really well when it came out in the 60s because there was the threat of the Cold War, but there was no actual, like, horrible Cold War. There's no war happening.
Yeah.
It's kind of weird because, like, the Civil Rights Movement was happening, and obviously Vietnam was happening. So it's sort of comparable to today, but today, I don't know, people are like more pessimistic about that stuff and more
But I think people are more open to the idea of mysteries and, murders and stuff because of podcasts and stuff. I think that people are more open to the fantasy element of it, not a remake of things that worked back then. I mean, and also the Twilight Zone movie, I know you like, but I am not a fan.
Yeah, I mean, I don't it's okay. It's not amazing. I think some of that audience was siphoned off by Black Mirror, and then Black Mirror got too close to reality, so they were like, we're just going to stop for a while.
Dude, but it's fucked up watching Black Mirror because it is so accurate.
I can't do it. And that's why I think, I guess what I mean is, so when Twilight Zone was coming out, it was taking those themes, those dudes were in World War II. Rod Serling was straight up a vet.
Yeah.
So he's writing this from that perspective of someone who's seen some terrible shit and kind of understands the nuances of human behavior and darkness and whatnot. So to try to just remake that entire thing is just not, you just don't have quite the grasp on the material that he had.
And I think that is the thing. It has to have more of a Black Mirror-esque type thing, and it doesn't even have to involve technology. It can still just be, humans at the carnal level. Just now. There's no reason to remake something that already worked. If you're remaking something, you want to add a new spin and you want to incorporate a new audience, but also not let down the previous audience. There's 3 things you have to do, and so many times it's fucked up. Casino Royale is a perfect example of revitalizing a franchise, bringing new people in, and not letting down previous watchers. That's it. Just fucking do that. And then a sequel to that, you're building off that new world you've created, so you're bringing everyone with you. That's it.
Yeah. And that's why it sucks that License to Kill never had a sequel. Dude, I just watched that again.
That movie is so great.
It is so good. I literally just watched it 1 week ago, and the whole time I was like, bless your heart.
Bless your heart. That movie is great.
I kind of forgot how, pissed off Bond is. He's literally, you were talking about it. You're like, oh, it's a revenge movie. I'm like, oh, yeah, whatever. I kind of not even thinking about it. And when you watch it, I mean, he's the entire basis is him straight up trying to murder this guy.
Yeah, he's fucking furious. And it is really warranted.
Yeah, it is. But we're getting off track. So
let's take a break and come back.
Okay, here's an Anchor ad from our pals over at Anchor. Anchor's Away. Wait, since this could be something serial, I'm going to do a different thing other than Anchors Away. So you set it up, you tee it up, and I'll cast it off.
Well, this is all a part of it.
Okay,
because
Okay, so, no wait, it's what?
It's because it's the Kerrit. People have heard it already, but it's the Kerrit theme music, and then it goes into something serial theme music, and then we started.
And so you just teed me up so I can go now, or?
No, I was saying that was the beginning of the episode. And then right now, this is all a part of it. But you can say whatever you want for the ad. But we're going to take an Anchor ad.
Here we go. So, wait, so we're going to take an Anchor ad. And then I go, I was sailing, and in the ocean, you have to get to a certain level where the anchor hits the ocean floor to not move the ship anymore. So you have to be kind of not as deep as you want to be. And so when Gerrit says anchor, we're at that spot in the sea where we have stability to cast an anchor. I've messed this up. I don't know. I thought there was symbolism in there. Anchors away. I'll just say that.
I was just going to say anchors away.
God dang it. I'm not creative anymore. So we're back.
Yeah, we're back.
Well, so yeah, Battinson has military boots from a surplus store, so that's kind of funny. So in 1989, Tim Burton has made 2 movies at this point. Kind of 3 if you could count Frank and Weenie, which was
a short
movie. Although available to rent at Family Video when I was a kid, so it was popular enough to have its own VHS release, which is interesting.
Probably after the success of Batman.
That is possible. I mean, yeah, I would. That's probably true. But yeah, so he made Pee-wee's Big Adventure, and Warner Brothers was like, we should get this guy on the job because he's odd. And then they were like, well, before we do that, we should let him do something else just to make sure he can like handle this kind of stuff. And he's like, I'll do Beetlejuice.
Yeah,
like,
that's what I thought.
And he's like, I'm gonna rock out and do Beetlejuice, and I'll even cast Alec Baldwin as Batman. Just kidding, I'll cast the other guy that you wouldn't think of as Batman. Michael Keaton's in both, for those who don't know this. And so...
Watching you explain things, you're so condescending. It's so funny.
No, I'm not. Why?
Michael Keaton's in both, in case you didn't know. And then in parentheses, you fucking moron.
I didn't say that. It's not common knowledge.
It's not.
There are people out there who have no idea about any of what I'm taught. Like So, for example, like Tim Burton's
Some people don't know there's Batman movies.
No, they don't even know. They don't give any shits. I mean, there's no real reason to. Although I think Batman's pretty awesome. Batman's like the kind of guy who's like James Bond to me, where it's like, just keep making movies. Like, I don't even give a shit. I love it. It's awesome. Look, why haven't you done Clayface? Do Clayface.
That was yeah. I mean, that would have been awesome in The Dark Knight Rises.
Yeah.
This is getting. You know what? I'll save my theory for what The Dark Knight Rises should have been when we get to that point, if we get to it. There we go.
That's fine, because I'll save my Clayface theory for around the Batman and Robin time that we get to.
Ooh, okay.
Because I have a lot of theories about that one.
1989.
Yeah, 1989's Batman. So it's interesting watching this movie. Have you watched it recently?
No, I haven't.
Because there's a weirdly huge difference between Batman and Batman Returns.
I did know that.
Because the first one is so, like, they're both dark movies, like dark thematically and dark visually. Like they're the palette, like the art direction and the cinematography. It's darker. But in the first one, it's almost more like a 1940s
noir.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. And the second one is much more like a Halloween gothic movie. Yeah. So they're different versions of darkness, and I kind of forgot about that.
It's almost like Christopher Nolan filming in different locations to showcase Gotham, where in Batman Begins, where did they film it?
I think it was Chicago.
Was it Chicago in both that and The Dark Knight?
I believe so. I believe so.
And then The Dark Knight Rises was filmed in Philly?
Was it? Wasn't Detroit in there somewhere? Or did Detroit... Because Detroit was... No, it was Grand Rapids. They were going to film... I swear to God, they were going to film Avengers in Grand Rapids. Or was it Lansing? They were going to film it in Michigan.
Dude. They filmed part of Batman vs. Superman in Lansing.
They did. No, they filmed that in Detroit.
No, they filmed a part of Batman. It's the one building where they meet Bruce Wayne and
That's so
Clark
nuts.
Kent.
That's so nuts.
I've seen it. It's on the campus of GVSU.
What do you mean? Well, no, they filmed it at Michigan State, right?
Michigan State, yeah. It's in Lansing.
Yeah, you said GVSU.
Oh, sorry. I'm stupid.
Yeah. But
I love that you just... Yeah, you are.
Yeah. So...
I'm stupid. Yeah. Anyway,
I'm not condescending. I'm
know.
very straightforward. Like you,
I was joking.
You're a fucking idiot. Like go fuck.
Kevin, you're so cunt descending.
Yes. Hush. I'm pawing like a cat. If you're not watching it, you're missing so much. If you're not watching, you're actually missing nothing if you're not watching this on YouTube, because it's like our faces with like very small changes from the audio. Like you see my hands right now moving and Garrett's smiling. Like that's you're not missing any.
They are missing a lot.
I
Smiled pretty. What if I just smiled like that the whole time? Kevin, tell me stories about 1989's Batman.
I mean, ugh, that's scary. You should have been the Joker. You've been Two-Face, that's for sure. That's a reference to Gerrit, and he had a Two-Face. It's exactly how he looked. When we graduated high school, he had... He just did the Two-Face thing for those who are not watching this again. Oh, jeez.
So senior year in high school, you have your senior photos, but you still have to take a photo at picture day. So you can just be an idiot in the picture. And for mine, I just did Two-Face.
Which is funny because Dark Knight had just come out.
It just came out. Like, I showed everybody that picture, and they loved it.
It's still great. It's still
pretty proud of it.
Yeah, it's perfect. What a great movie also, but... I'm so
Rachel!
Okay. So it's dark in a way that's dark different. It's funny too. I mean, even Batman Begins like has a darkness. Like they all have they're dark thematically, but like Batman Begins and The Dark Knight have more of like an epic visual, like Lord of the Rings thing going on for at least a like the outdoor scenes in the mountains. Yeah. It's weird how each movie is separate visually, I guess. One of the things that I've noticed.
The thing that links Batman and Batman Returns for me, besides Michael Keaton and Alfred, are the idea that they both seem like they're on sets. You know? Like you watch it and you go, this is filmed on a fucking set.
Yeah.
It's so weird. Like the outside stuff, and it's supposed to be a city, it's like, this feels like Warner Brothers backlot. It's weird to watch.
Yeah. That's such a good way to put it, especially the first one.
Yes. Yep.
And it's weird to me because the first one was nominated for best like production design.
Ridiculous.
And it's not like bad, like it definitely has a distinct style and you can tell that he was looking for that style. But at the same time it almost feels claustrophobic, but not in a like the Descent sense where like it's intentionally claustrophobic. It feels claustrophobic where it's like it feels fake because there's not enough there, so they're keeping the camera in certain angles to sort of avoid showing the fakeness of it, and so it's not as grandiose as it wants to be. And as it shows in certain shots, I mean, it'll show the city, and you're just kind of like I get that that's supposed to, but then again, too, that's how it's supposed to. Like that was
the vision.
Exactly. And that's the visual ability at the time compared to what we're used to. And
it's the same as like showing the sky or whatever, and it looks like a matte painting. But it doesn't look it looks so fake, I guess is the thing. I mean, there's certain scenes that look real, but then they'll do an insert shot of something and you're like, that I feel like that doesn't hold up. I can't tell. Everyone loves this movie, but I feel like it doesn't hold up. Yeah.
Our guest Alex Plotkowski said that it's the best Batman movie.
Yeah, I mean, I would say it is because of nostalgia reasons.
But I mean, for nostalgia, like shit, dude. Batman Returns, Batman Forever, Batman and Robin all have more nostalgia value. For me, he's I think how old is he? He's like our age, right?
I think he's a year younger.
Okay. Yeah, so that makes it even weirder, bro.
You know what?
Like, Alex, what are you doing, buddy?
It could be the film snob in Alex Plotkowski that thinks that Batman is better. But, no, I mean, genuinely, if you look away from, set design and all that stuff and looking like the things that we just described, it is the best plot, and it is the best origin story for the Joker. I think it's better than Batman.
You think so?
Returns, yeah.
Oh, I think Batman Returns is better now. I mean, this is probably something we'll get into a little more later, but my top two are Batman Returns and Batman Forever. Those movies are fucking astounding. Love those movies.
Wow.
Yeah. Batman Forever is fucking amazing. I don't give a shit what people say. It's
you're gonna have to convince me when we get to that. But...
I'll try. I mean, it's gonna take some vocabulary, so I'm gonna have to brush up on my debate skills because
I own all three of those. So maybe the next episode can be me talking about Batman.
Yeah, you should. I mean, honestly, if you have a chance, for sure, especially for next week
I should have time.
Yeah. Okay. Quick. Let's just. I'm gonna try and hammer out some stuff with 1989, real quick. Okay. I just have to end. I guess. God, there's so much to talk about. Okay, so it's kind of 40s style. It kind of feels like a serial. It kind of has like this. Like not quite gothic, more of a film noir type feel to it. Lots of fog. At one point, Batman is literally animated, like hand-drawn animated. There's an above overhead shot of him standing on a roof. It's at the very beginning in the first 5 minutes, and then he kind of sweeps his cape and walks away. And it looks almost like it was intentionally fake, but not fake enough to be annoying or like distracting from the overall world that has been created. That's what makes me wonder when you talk about some of the matte paintings, like it doesn't need to be super realistic as long as the tone meshes. And that's the one thing that I would say in defense of it is like tonally it is very consistent. And if you can kind of get behind that sort of style, it's cool. Still, it's not as good as something like Batman Returns for me. And that's why I kind of view it maybe not as good. And also I don't have the nostalgia behind it because I grew up with Batman Returns on VHS and not Batman.
Yeah. I think, I grew up with Batman Returns and Forever. I think I got Batman Returns and then Forever and Batman and Robin, but I always watch Batman and Robin the most, genuinely.
For sure. I would say, because for us it was definitely like Batman Returns and then Batman and Robin came out. Somehow I kind of skipped Forever. Like I watched it, but not a ton. And I didn't watch Batman Forever a ton until I think, like, I don't know, I want to say the late 90s when I had, like, maybe I had it at that point. I forget when I got that one.
I watched Forever the most until Batman and Robin came out, and then I watched Batman and Robin.
Dude, I remember
exclusively.
Like, Batman and Robin was the greatest when it came out. It had those Pop-Tarts, those themed Pop-Tarts.
It had literally everything.
Yeah, it did. That's actually that's kind of the problem, actually.
It's the Die Another Day of the Batman franchise.
Yeah. But then the other thing, so Batman, the other thing I wanted to say is, there's a theme that is established in the first two, and I didn't notice it as much in Batman Forever and Batman and Robin, but in Batman 1 and Batman Returns. Michael Keaton.
Sorry.
I know. He straight up kills people. So all of I can point to two specific moments, and I'm going to. Because people were very much complaining about this when Batman vs. Superman came out.
I hate anytime someone says that. Just shut the fuck. The one thing you're holding on to from like 3 comics is that they don't kill. Shut the fuck up.
The thing that I noticed is, I think, first of all, so here are the 2 examples. In the first one, when Batman is flying the Batwing and he's shooting at the Joker during the parade scene, he like shoots a couple of Joker's henchmen. And then in the second one, he is being assaulted by one of the Penguin's killer clowns henchmen, and he fires his rocket boost on the Batmobile and sets the guy on fire. And it's pretty violent. It's like, holy shit.
How about that scene where he like tapes the bomb to the guy and throws him into a manhole and then he fucking explodes?
And that's another one. Yeah, for real. And it's like, it's almost treated kind of funny. I mean, both of the things we just described are very like Funhouse Gothic, Tim Burton style shit. Yeah. But he still killed people. And I'm wondering, like, after watching Batman Begins even, he says,
I'm not people.
He didn't kill people. He said, I won't kill you, but I don't have to save you. And that's when he got off the train without rescuing Liam Neeson, and he just let the train crash with Liam Neeson on it.
He killed him.
My thought being then, it's almost like he's using other outside forces to do the dirty work.
Which is just a cop-out. He still killed him. I mean, if we're really not going to mince words on this, he's a murderer. You know?
Kind of.
But he also burned the place in all those ninjas or whatever.
Like Ra's al Ghul died in like the Ken Watanabe, the stand-in. He's not actually Ra's al Ghul. He fucking dies based on Bruce Wayne's decisions, and it's like he was doing it in self-defense, and he was doing it for what he felt was the morally right thing to do.
So yeah, it's funny because so did Superman in Man of Steel.
It's weird, right? Like, I don't know why people get hung up on this idea because Bruce Wayne kills a lot. Yeah. Or at least causes carnage.
But it's this weird thing where, I don't know, man. I mean, it's almost like I can't listen to people that go on about that. They're just so stupid. It's like you can't love something that also does the thing that you're shitting on right now.
Right.
You know?
Yeah.
Like, you can't be like, oh, Avengers is great, even though there's all this destruction. Batman versus Superman is shit because they're tearing up a town. and then later acknowledge, well, let's go over here because there's no. What a cop out! It's like,
I know.
What do you fucking want?
What do you want, man? We're
Yeah.
trying to appease you because you were mad about the violence. And
Yeah.
then we decided to appease you. We pandered to you for you, and you got mad too. It's toxic. It's impossible to please everybody. You just have to stick to your guns and let Batman strap a bomb to a killer clown and throw him into a sewer. Like, you just got to. So, yeah, but hey, this has been fun. We'll talk more next week, more about Batman, more about Grey's Anatomy, more about Walking Dead, more about Cuties, more about License to Kill and James Bond. And, yeah, it'll be fun.
I can't wait.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, bye.
Bye.